D-Gens, what's going on, guys? What is going on? How's everybody doing? All right, let's get into some chart action. Bitcoin's making a run right now, eh? Bitcoin is making a run, guys. JASMY just kind of doing its thing. Golden Cross continues to get closer and closer, as I laid it out 2 days ago here, guys. If you remember, I said I'm just going to leave that there, and we're going to watch it play out together, right? We inch and squinch our way closer and closer to that Golden Cross. It's only a matter of time before JASMY does its melt up like everything else, guys. Only a matter of time. It's looking good, bouncing around. Hopefully we don't break below this trend line here. Break to the upside would be in the cards. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing its thing, guys. So check it out. We finally broke resistance. I was talking about this last night, guys. If you watched the video I did last night, I was talking about this resistance level, 91,008. If we broke above it, we were going to head right up here to this line at about 94, 95K. Right now, we are just a little bit below 94K. We're at 93,800. So we are about $170 away from my target that I said we were going to hit if we broke above here. So, it's just, it's hard being right like all the time, but we rejected off of here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. And we finally snapped above it, guys, closing this daily candle above resistance here at 91.8 is going to be crucial. So hopefully we can get that close. Still have about 4.5 hours before that happens, though. So we got some time to kill before this candle close. So let's go look at the weekly real quick. Look at that. Look at that weekly, guys. 4 weeks in a row, green, like massive green, massive green. It would be nice if we could get above this right here. Close above here would be nice too. But yeah. That's kind of what I see playing out here. So far, so good, guys. So far, so good. Let's go look at the bubbles, see what's going on. See what the broader market is doing. Algorand is continuing to melt my freaking face, you guys. Algorand has been pumping nonstop for like a week. Absolutely fantastic. I love to see it. Love to see it. Algorand and Algorand, XRP, KASPA, all Myria have been carrying my portfolio into the promised land lately. It's very, very nice. JASMY up 1% right now. Yeah. 1.06 billion market cap. So market cap's up a little bit. What do we got running? Proppies having a nice run, guys. Forta, H-Bar's up another 9% today. H-Bar's been going nuts, 106% on the week. That's insane. Casper's kind of having a bit of a pullback after being up. It was at almost 200% up the other day, so it's a little bit of a cool down there. Doge is having a run, so some good DCA opportunities still, though, guys. Not a bad chance to pick up some Corium. Corium was up like 200% the other day as well because it's in the XRP ecosystem. So Corium and Flare were running. Same with Sologenic. If you're interested in the XRP ecosystem, those are 3 projects you might want to add to your watch list because they were running like crazy. All right. Let's see. What do we got going on out there today in the news, guys? Just so you know, I'm not ignoring the chat. As I always say, we do the chat the second half of the stream. So put your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. I will get to them the second half of the stream. Okay. All right. So Eric Balchinian says you have to kind of acknowledge that the governments across the world are going to continue to print money and debase their own currency to solve problems because it's politically accepted. So listen to this.
In order to even entertain Bitcoin, you have to have one thing in your brain. You have to kind of acknowledge that governments across the world are going to continue to print money and debase their own currencies to solve problems because it's politically expedient. If you don't think that, you'll never come around on Bitcoin, ever. So that's what I found. Bitcoin is, some people are like, it has no purpose, no sense.
Right.
But that's why people are using it. That's how BlackRock is marketing it. They even show a chart of the purchasing power of the dollar since the Fed came out. You used to see those charts like in the deep corners of crypto Twitter. Now BlackRock is out there traveling the world showing people this chart. So that to me is what people are using it for, especially in the emerging markets. That's where actually holding it directly, I think, even has more of an appeal. In the US, a little less so. But I think people do like to have that feeling like their real return might not be as bad if you have a little Bitcoin.
If Bitcoin breaks, does it noodle for years and gradually go down, or do you worry about suddenly?
Yeah, so certainly. I mean, I just think that if the other coins to me have a little more of that potential, I think Bitcoin is different. I think it is like a digital gold.
Why is Bitcoin different from the Doge?
Yeah, because in my opinion, Bitcoin is truly decentralized. It really is. It's based off of Cold War military technology. And so there's decentralized computers. There's no CEO. And in a time where, governments can control the monetary supply with such force, I think there'll always be some demand for that. The other thing is it has survived like 4 or 5 certain deaths. It's like a cockroach.
Well,
it keeps coming back.
Is it surviving because of the constraint of countable supply versus gold in the Gilded Age? They found the Yukon to save gold.
I think both can survive. I think you're going to find gold always will have a use. People want to wear jewelry. Gold has that.
Lisa, take a note of it.
Bitcoin, though, I think not only is its resiliency, that's what first made me respect it. At least I didn't understand. I'm like, man, it keeps coming back from like near certain death, and then it comes back. It makes new all-time highs. That's one. And I think the energy and the enthusiasm of its believers is, I'm not sure you can really eliminate that and extinguish it. There is a religious aspect to it, and it's a fervor. And so I wouldn't totally say it would go to zero. But I do feel like there could be a face-ripping sell-off between now and the next couple of years that these ETF people are going to have to deal. But I think they'll deal with it better than people think.
It's like a cockroach. You can't kill it. Oh, man. I hate when people, like, here's the thing. I think there's some intellectual dishonesty with certain people when they talk about crypto and Bitcoin. When they're speaking to people without experience and don't understand a 4-year cycle. Because like he just said at the end of his statement, he said, I think that there'll be like a big sell-off in the next couple of years. Yeah, of course. It's called a bear market, dumbass, right? But see, these people that he's talking to don't understand that there's a 4-year cycle. So he'll say it like, I think there's going to be a big face rip-off, sell-off kind of thing in the next couple of years. Yeah, that's because it's scheduled to happen. Those of us who are in crypto, we know it's coming, right? Like, but he says it in a way that like tries to make him look good later. They can say, oh, he said that this was going to happen. He's so smart. Yeah, him and everybody else who's in crypto, because we know that there's going to be a sell-off in 2026. It's called a bear market, right? So I think there's a little bit of intellectual dishonesty with that for me personally. But all right, what else do we got here? Check this out, guys. Kraken, today is the day. KASPA is now available for trading on Kraken. Deposits and withdrawals are enabled. So KASPA is it's actually down 3.6%. So buy the rumor, sell the news, I suppose. We're not seeing amazing, fantastic, super awesome volume coming in. So, all right, what else do we got? What else do we got in the news today? Check this out from Simply Bitcoin. BlackRock endorses a strategic Bitcoin reserve. There is a renewed sense of optimism for Bitcoin with Donald Pump, and a strategic reserve will accelerate the broadening Bitcoin adoption. BlackRock bullish, says the sentiment across the crypto market is bullish on crypto, you guys. Check this out too. To piggyback off of that, China running on the news, on their news networks, talking about Chinese Central Television reports Trump's promise to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the U.S. They are talking about it in China, guys. I know you can't understand it, but check it out.
特币价格飙升至历史新高。数据显示，按市值计算的全球最大加密货币比特币，在6号盘中交易价格一度达到$75,000，再创历史新高，涨幅超8%。据多家媒体报道，特朗普此前曾承诺要让美国成为世界比特币和加密货币之都，并建立战略性比特币储备。当天，特币价。
I've been saying, guys, the world is paying attention. Yesterday, Poland announced they were going to do the same thing. They were going to make a strategic reserve asset out of Bitcoin. China's talking about it on the news. Do you really think that Russia and China are not going to participate? You are tripping, man. You are tripping. All right, so let's get into one of these articles, shall we? When will the SEC make a decision on the XRP ETF? Expert lawyer announces possible date for XRP decision. Following the approval of a spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in the US, eyes have turned to other crypto ETFs. At this point, while spot Solana and XRP ETF applications are coming, XRP supporter lawyer Jeremy Hogan said that Bitwise will only decide on the XRP ETF application in mid-2025 due to the impact on the ongoing Ripple case appeal. Jeremy Hogan noted that there are still significant hurdles ahead for XRP ETFs and that the biggest risk to Bitwise XRP ETF is the SEC itself. Hogan, who shared from his X account, said that the average time frame for an ETF approval varies between 6 to 12 months accordingly. Hogan stated that if the SEC's ongoing appeal process in the Ripple case progresses as expected, a decision on the XRP ETF application could come towards the middle of 2025. Jeremy Hogan noted that the ETF application generally follows a predictable timeline, with approval or denial decisions typically coming within a year. Noting that the SEC appeal related to the Ripple case will likely affect the XRP ETF decision process, Hogan stated that if the appeal process progresses as expected, a decision will not be made until next summer. As is known, Bitwise attracted the attention of the market by applying for to the SEC for an XRP ETF in October. Later, Bitwise Chief Investment Officer Matt Hogan said that they believe in the potential of XRP and that XRP was still waiting to be discovered. Bitwise believes in the potential of XRP and is confident that it will eventually be discovered. That's why they filed for an XRP ETF. Bitwise is not filing for fun, Hogan said. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said that ETF approval was inevitable after Bitwise applied for the XRP ETF. I think with a new head of the SEC in place, things will move a little bit faster than people are anticipating. All right, what do we got here? Bitcoin is going to hit $100,000 long before the holidays. Kevin O'Leary.
Bitcoin is going to hit $100,000 long before the holiday, I think.
Didn't I just say that?
It's so close. And there's no resistance here. This is the crypto of choice for financial institutions and sovereign wealth. They don't care about anything else, just Bitcoin. And so the aspect of mining it gets more complex. Big debate about the electricity needed to do this. But at the same time, it's an alternative asset here to stay.
Weren't you over there in Qatar? There was something to do with a crypto conference over there. You had something to do with it?
Yes, I was there. We still do
Was
not.
that the springboard?
Well, the truth is, sovereign wealth has still yet to get involved. People keep talking as if they are, not yet. But when they come on, this will go and go and go and go because they're agnostic to the price. They're going to hold it for 10 years. Bitcoin.
Big money is still yet to pour into Bitcoin and crypto, guys. You are still early. You are still early. Next cycle is going to be just as fantastic. BlackRock says Bitcoin is not a risk-on asset.
When you're engaged in that kind of education, what do you say? What is the role?
Yeah, well, we think that there's been a kind of misconception that's frankly been perpetuated by a lot of crypto research and other publications characterizing Bitcoin as a risk-on asset. Bitcoin is very clearly a risky asset, right? It's volatile, it's relatively new and unproven still. For a long time, it's faced regulatory uncertainty, but that's a different concept from being risk-on, which implies that you're supposed to correlate and go up and down with equities. Fundamentally, the risks and return drivers of Bitcoin are very different from what they are of equities and most other so-called risk-on assets. And understanding that distinction is absolutely critical for most institutional investors and for wealth advisors, because it totally changes the role that it can play in a portfolio. If it is uncorrelated, which fundamentally kind of suggests it is, that's where you get this potential for it as a diversifier and even as a potential hedge against some of the macro risks that exist, some of the U.S. fiscal sustainability concerns around the world, fears of inflation, monetary debasement, et cetera.
Not a risk-on asset. Crazy. All right. What else do we got here? All right. Michael Vandepop. The total market capitalization of crypto has printed a new all-time high. However, that's just the start. We'll retest some of the lower levels and continue to rally towards $4 trillion for the altcoins. This cycle is likely to peak. He thinks that the total assets market cap will peak somewhere between 10 to 15 trillion dollars. There's still a lot to go. I would agree with that. I've been saying that for a year and a half or so, something like that. Something like that. All right. Ron Paul says, Bitcoin, you can't tax money.
When you say, Dr. Paul, legalize the competition, what does that mean with regards to Bitcoin, and what role do you see Bitcoin potentially playing in that kind of monetary system?
Well, it would mean that, if right now, if you buy and sell gold, you get it taxed. They can do that. If you make a profit in Bitcoin, you read stories about people being taxed on it. You can't tax money. You don't tax it. If you bought $1 a year ago and it went down 10%, you can't take a loss because your dollar lost value. So it's the currency that if you compete with it, in some ways there's a little bit of that internationally, but nobody's allowed to compete at a national level. We're not allowed to compete with the currency. I know during the presidential campaign, a few of my enthusiastic supporters actually designed a coin, and they had my image on there, which was pretty silly. And they called it a Ron Paul dollar. They got into big trouble. They got in trouble because they could not use the word dollar. That was encroaching on the monopoly control of money.
But what is the main theme that you plan on conveying about Bitcoin when you address the conference on Friday? What is your overall perspective on Bitcoin?
Well, I won't try to explain exactly technically where it's good, bad, or indifferent. I will argue more the case for the legalization of freedom of choice, and the people should make the decision, not the government. And I don't.
That's an interesting concept. Wouldn't that be cool if you could do that? If you could tax harvest the loss of purchasing power on your dollar in your savings account, right? So if your purchasing power lost 6% or 7% in a year, wouldn't it be amazing if you could write that off as a tax loss? That you should be able to, right? That would be crazy. All right, what else do we got going on here? Let's go to another article. Bitcoin price holds steady as altcoins gain momentum. Bitcoin continues to maintain its value above $92,000, though it experiences fluctuations of approximately $2,000 that hinder the growth of altcoins. As Bitcoin consolidates, market observers speculate that altcoins may soon witness a surge in their prices. Recent assessments have focused on the performance of Pol, ETH, and Solana, particularly in relation to Bitcoin's pricing dynamics. Today's market analysis by Miles Ducher pointed out a positive breakout trend in the Sol BTC chart, currently priced around $240. Sol Coin's upward movement against Bitcoin, is vital for it to achieve new all-time highs. Additionally, meme coins with the Solana network, such as Bonk Coin, could also see benefits from the bullish sentiment. Polygon, one of the major altcoins, they changed their ticker from Matic, right? Just in case you're wondering, guys, has been subdued. Has had a subdued year, showing lackluster performance. Initial enthusiasm in early 2023 has faded, but recent evaluations indicate a revival. Ollie Charts reported a notable increase in on-chain activity, signaling growing market interest, which could bode well for Pol's future. So altcoins are looking to have another phase of a melt up coming here, guys. What else do we have? I keep saying that about JASMY, for example. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF options are trading live today, guys. Today, this could be massive for Bitcoin. A few hundred million so far in options volume on IBIT, a ton for day one. It seems very bullish, says Bloomberg's Eric Balchinian. So, guys, Bitcoin options are now trading on NASDAQ. This could be a game changer over the next little while, guys. This could be the catalyst that pushes Bitcoin over 100K. We're going to have to pay close attention to how the volume looks on these options trading on NASDAQ for the spot Bitcoin ETFs. All right, a little bit of XRP news, guys. XRP's meteoric rise as crypto-friendly pump administration ignites the markets.
XRP on a tear as optimism for a crypto-friendly Congress and Trump administration ignites the markets.
I just said
It's Monday, November 18th. This is CoinDesk Daily. I'm your host, Christine Lee. XRP catapulting to a 3-year high over the weekend to more than $1.20, with futures bets soaring to record levels. Open interest for XRP derivatives surpassed $2 billion on Sunday, betting on further volatility in the price of the 6th largest cryptocurrency in $65 billion market capitalization. The trend is fueled by optimism about easing regulatory headwinds, as a crypto-friendly Trump administration may benefit tokens linked to U.S.-based companies such as Ripple Labs. Additionally, the forthcoming addition of Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin and French bank Société Générale-backed Euro stablecoin to XRP Ledger could boost institutional adoption of the network. Speaking of crypto-friendly Trump administration, when it comes to who will become the next Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, founder of investment firm Key Square Capital Management and a former money manager for George Soros, is taking the lead on Polymarket over Howard Lutnick, CEO of Tether custodian Cantor Fitzgerald. Former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh is close behind, and Apollo Global Management CEO Mark Rowan is rising in odds. The New York Times reporting that President-elect Donald Trump is having second thoughts about his 2 top picks and is slowing down his selection process in favor of interviewing the latter 2 candidates this week at Mar-a-Lago. Trump reportedly feels annoyed by Lutnick's constant presence and influence on the selection process for his own interests, though he remains a top pick for tech entrepreneur Elon Musk, who is a close Trump advisor. Trump's picks for other top agencies that could impact crypto, namely the Securities and Exchange Commission and Commodities Futures Trading Commission, are still unknown. CoinDesk's Nick Day reporting that as Republicans solidify their hold on the U.S. House, Senate, and White House, crypto industry groups are more optimistic on passing some kind of crypto legislation, whether that's a new version of the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, aka FIT21, a stablecoin bill, a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill, or something else entirely is less clear. But the chances of passing through the legislative process and becoming law have increased dramatically. Blockchain Association CEO Kristen Smith telling CoinDesk that, quote, industry groups are coordinating to get on the same page. That's it for CoinDesk Daily. Get more updates on CoinDesk.com, and we'll see you next time.
Boom. All right. What else do we have for updates? We got lots, guys. Look at the fries that'll cross your eyes. Investors and CEOs will wait for clarity from new admin to commit capital. So basically what they're saying here, guys, is that investors are going to wait for the new administration to be very clear about what's going on, and then a whole crap ton of money is going to start pouring in.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Markets this morning reacting to Ukraine hitting inside Russian territory with U.S. supplied missiles. And joining us right now to talk about the market's reaction, but also the bigger forces moving the markets right now, is Peter Krause. He's the chairman and CEO of Aperture Investors. And Peter, the immediate reaction this morning is a muted one. We're continuing to watch geopolitical events. We did see futures drop. It's not a massive move, maybe down a little over half a percentage point for the Dow. It's just part of the continuing issue. Probably the bigger forces moving the markets right now are the Trump election and the new administration coming in, and then what the Fed does as a reaction to the economy. How do you add this all up? Because when we started the year, you had a pretty optimistic outlook. You changed it in July to say you were a little more concerned about some of the things that could be happening. How do you feel right now?
Well, it's a little uncertain, I think, and I think the market's reflecting that. Volatility since the election, inside the market, the volatility has actually increased reasonably significantly between different stocks and bonds. And the market itself has been kind of listless, not really directional.
That first week, there was a pretty big
up
move
5%, but then down 2%. So that's sort of the part of the volatility. I think there is uncertainty here. We don't really know what the administration is going to do with tariffs. We don't know what they're going to do on immigration. We don't know what they're going to do on taxes. We know what the broad headlines are. We don't know exactly what's going to impact the different parts of the economy, and people are going to allocate capital and make big investments. I think we will grow. I think there will be growth here. I think 18 months, 2 years, we'll see significant injection of capital into the economy. Manufacturing is relatively low. Destocking has been taking place over the last 2 years. We should see restocking. We should see growth. But I think people are going to wait, and investors are going to watch, but CEOs are going to wait to see how this clears up before they start committing capital.
I guess the other question that is, if we see growth, is that growth strong enough that how the Fed plays into some of this too? This has been a huge win where we've had a pretty strong economy. Companies have been able to continue to deliver on the bottom line, and it's all happening while the Fed's moving to move interest rates lower. And that's a pretty hard force to change.
Yeah, I think the Fed is going to continue to lower rates, but at a slower pace. I think the short rates are probably still too elevated for a normal environment. So you'll probably see 25 basis points in December, and next year probably 25 to 50 basis points. But I don't think, unless the economy gets really hot and inflation comes back in force, I don't think that the Fed's going to reverse that.
Okay.
And I don't think the Fed's going to drive rates down to some lower level unless there's recession.
So if you have that massive deregulation and lower taxes, which we don't know exactly what the taxes are going to look like, but I think it's a safe bet that taxes will be lower than they would have been under the Harris administration, and probably than where they are.
I think
now.
You'll have growth. So I think you'll have growth, and I think you'll have the market will do reasonably well. And I think companies' earnings will do well. I think the interest-sensitive assets will struggle a bit because the rates are not going to come down that much. So, private equity, real estate, things like that are sensitive to levels of interest rates will have to not struggle, but figure out how to restructure themselves in that environment.
What's that mean for housing, which has been a big issue?
I think people's incomes will grow. I think that they'll be able to afford at least to fix their houses and change things. So you'll see housing-related stocks or stocks that affect improvements in housing do reasonably well. How it's going to affect home builders, that's a little bit of a challenge because, interest rates, again, are very sensitive to those kinds of activities. And I think that falls sort of in the real estate camp. It'll probably be more challenging for that to grow.
A lot of money sitting on the sidelines right now, guys, waiting to come into the market. Guys, remember about like 3 weeks ago, I showed you MicroStrategy stock. Look at it now. Boom. Up to $416, guys. Holy crap, is MicroStrategy stock soaring. And you think for 1 second that Microsoft shareholders who are voting on December 9th to whether they're going to do the same thing and put Bitcoin on their balance sheets, you think they're going to vote no? Watching MicroStrategy stock do this? Yeah. I think it's almost guaranteed that Microsoft is going to resoundingly vote yes. We need to put Bitcoin on our balance sheets post haste. Benjamin Cowan with a little bit of negativity as usual. He says November 24th, 2020 marked the local top for altcoins, BTC pairs, before BTC sucked liquidity out of them for the next 5 weeks. So what he's saying here is that on November 24th, 2024, Bitcoin really started to run. So that's when Bitcoin really took off, sucking all the liquidity out of the alts. So this is the altcoins kind of crashing down because all the money is pouring into Bitcoin. And then look at the recovery that they had afterwards, like a V-shaped recovery going into December. Boom, right? Liftoff. So he's predicting we could see something like that, a bit of a sell-off on the altcoins while Bitcoin really starts to break through. So basically, Bitcoin right here starts to smash through $100,000. Money starts to pour into Bitcoin out of the alts, and we see the alts do this, right? And then immediately after, all that liquidity into Bitcoin starts flowing into the alts, and boom, we have liftoff on the altcoins. So something to kind of look forward to, guys. Also, we have another $1 billion in USDT minted at the Treasury today, guys. Another $1 billion coming into crypto. All right. Now, guys, for my algo fans out there, we got an interview with AJ Wrights Crypto with CMO of the Algorand Foundation, guys. Very bullish stuff.
Like, marketing shouldn't be about the spin, right? Authenticity is a really core component of what you should be doing.
You know, and what I really like about what the marketing strategy with Algorand has been, you know, we're at a crypto conference now, but just earlier this summer, Algorand was the only crypto project at a developer conference in Berlin. Yeah. So kind of tell me about, you know, the attempt in mainstreaming blockchain development and why developers are your target demographic.
Yeah, so developers for us are our core demographic, because we believe that if you're going to mainstream blockchain, you have to get the developers over to your side, specifically the Web2 developers. And so from a developer perspective, we actually have a dual strategy. One is with regards to crypto developers. If you're a blockchain developer, right, and you're developing for, let's say, Ethereum, right, you have a hard job, right? It doesn't scale the way it's supposed to scale. Gas fees are expensive. There's no instant finality. So in your software, if you're building financial settlement software, you have to do all kinds of tricks to make sure that if there's a rollback, that doesn't cause any problems for you. And there's no atomic swaps. So you have to build all of these things yourselves. And so we had a project recently that moved over from Ethereum to us, and they told us that 30 to 50% of their engineering resources was spent on blockchain stuff. And if you're like, okay, any type of SaaS company, any kind of tech company, and the CTO comes to you and says, I'm spending 50% of my resources on integrating with Oracle, that CTO is going to get fired. That's insane. Right? Like that's just insane, right? So they moved over to Algorand, and because Algorand has all of these things built in, like atomic swaps and multi-sig and instant finality, now they're spending roughly 5% of their engineering resources on blockchain stuff. And that's kind of the right percentage, right? So that's one message that we're trying to get out there. But the second message, and the bigger message, is really beyond existing blockchain developers. There's about 30,000 blockchain developers in the world. There's 7 million Python developers. There's more than 10 million TypeScript developers. And so if you really want to mainstream things, you have to basically get those folks interested. And so that's really what our main target is. And so that's why we've developed native Python support, native TypeScript support. And that's how we're positioning Algorand also as an infrastructure piece, as a piece of a tech stack. So if you're a Web2 developer, you should be thinking of Algorand as an operating system, as a piece in your technology stack, and now we make it as easy as possible for those people to kind of on-ramp onto our platform.
You know, it has been a big year for Algorand in terms of, you know, technical advancements, announcements, and everything. And this isn't the first time we've spoke this year. We had an interview at Decipher in Barcelona. Great time, by the way. And, you know, there was a lot of announcements that rolled out during Decipher. And the one that spoke to me was Coinbase with the Quest, like really helping people go on chain with Algorand. Like, where are we with that announcement since the last time we spoke?
So we get to do these interviews in nice locations, right?
It's
First Barcelona,
it's
and
great.
now Vegas. Where's the next one going to be?
Wherever you want, let me know. I love it.
So yeah, so we're going to launch a Coinbase Quest in September, actually. And the whole idea behind the Quest is to get more people to experience the power of Algorand. And so it's not going to be a Quest where you watch a video and then you answer a quiz and then we'll drop you some algos. No, the idea is we'll get you to experience it. We'll get you to download our Para wallet. We'll get you to do a swap with Tinyman. We'll get you to participate in the lending pool with Volks Finance. And so we'll let you experience the power of Algorand. And so that's what we're going to go after. And that's what we're going to push for.
Amazing. So every time I do, you know, an interview like this, I always do a giveaway on Twitter. And I say to my audience, hey, if you, given the opportunity, if you could ask, you know, Mark from Algorand, anything you want, what would it be? All right. And so the winner of this giveaway, they get credit, is at K Blockchain, and they get $250 in Algorand. K's question was, just not word for word, but it's basically, you know, there's been a lot of technical advancements with Algorand this year, from, you know, incentivization to post-quantum readiness. And now, how does the team plan to balance that in DeFi and with the tokenization of real-world assets? So the question's basically, RWAs on Algorand, and is the real world ready for blockchain?
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, yes, we're very excited about some of the new launches that we're planning for the end of the year, and specifically node incentivization. That's a fundamentally big change for Algorand, because Algorand didn't have a reward system for staking algos and for participating in node running. And so it's a fundamental change in our protocol. And the reason why we do it, obviously, is because we want more people to stake their algos, and we want more people to run the nodes, because it's going to further secure the network and enhance the network. And we think it's going to be a great success also because running a node in Algorand is super, super simple. For instance, I'm running a node in my home, and it's running on a 10-year-old Mac Pro. And it works perfectly, and it's super, super easy, and it's kind of one of the nice things about the Algorand protocol. But so that's one part. So we're very excited about launching that towards the end of the year.
Rare Evo. Stupid commercials. Have to mute it through the commercial. Music, you know what I'm saying, guys? Guys, I have always been mega bullish on Algorand. I remember making videos on it back like 2 years ago when they lost their top TVL provider, and people were fighting it. It dropped down to like 8 cents, and I was like, nope, I'm buying more, man. And I stuffed my bags with, a whole crap load of Algorand at 8 cents, and I'm loving the rewards for that now.
Question around real-world assets. I think for me, this is like one of the biggest kind of opportunities that we have with blockchain. And I kind of look at real-world assets in two ways. There's the assets that are traceable and the assets that are tradable. And let me explain for a second. So the traceable ones, that basically hints at supply chain, type of use cases. And we have like, I don't know how many, we have 10, 15 supply chain companies that are running on Algorand and are doing stuff like in the real world and are really, really, so we have this company that's basically tracking Italian cheese. And so the Italian cheese needs to be protected in order to call the cheese by its name. The milk from the cows have to come from a particular region in Italy. And so we're tracking from like milk production of cows,
I love that,
all the way to the cheese, using a blockchain to be able to prove that the cheese is actually the real cheese, right? And so there's so many kind of supply chain applications that are currently running. Lavazza is tracking coffee beans all the way from farmers in Cuba until you actually buy the package in the store, so you can actually track publicly, which farmer was actually producing the coffee beans that you're about to have. And so many, we have, supply chain companies that are doing carbon insets, we have supply chain companies in gas and oil, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the first aspect of real world assets. The second aspect are the tradable ones, the assets that you typically tokenize and that you can trade. And so again, so many companies that are doing that, like, let me give you one example. Travelex, I'm not sure if you've heard the company, is a company that's tokenizing airline tickets. So they've tokenized millions, roughly, I think it's over 10 million now, airline tickets. And so what that means is they create a secondary market for airline tickets. So you can buy an airline ticket and then you can sell it. You can sell it to your friend, you can give it to your daughter, you can basically do whatever you want with it because you own it. It's minted as an NFT, so you do whatever you want with it. And so there's no airline that's going to say, well, you can't sell, you can't resell. There's no airlines are going to say, I'm going to charge you $100 to kind of like resell your airline ticket. None of that. So it's completely creating a completely new market that didn't exist before. That
a lot of middlemen are getting cut out because of blockchain technology, guys, and that is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. We were talking over on the Patreon the other night about Lofty as well. Lofty is another one that's tokenizing mortgages and stuff like that, right? So, and that's on Algorand as well. Same thing with Proppy, right? 2024 Bitcoin price prediction. Will we see 100K before the end of the year? As we approach the end of 2024, many are wondering if Bitcoin will hit $100,000. While some experts earlier this year suggested it might happen, analysts like Benjamin Cowan are now looking at it at the betting market, which put the chances at around 60%. In an interview with David Lin, Cowan said that Bitcoin is currently following a typical price pattern seen during previous halving years. However, Cowan warns that any disruptions in the labor market, especially if unemployment numbers rise sharply, could delay Bitcoin's surge. If unemployment remains low, Bitcoin might stay on track to hit 100K by the end of the year. But if numbers spike, reaching 100K might be pushed to 2025. At the time of writing, Bitcoin is trading above 92K. It's actually $93,184 right now. What happens when Bitcoin hits 100K? Should Bitcoin break $100,000 mark, it will likely attract attention. Historically, when Bitcoin hits major milestones, some investors take profits, leading to temporary sell-offs. However, the real question is whether this price surge will spark renewed interest in other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's recent success has not been mirrored by other assets like Ethereum or altcoins, which have lagged behind despite Bitcoin's strong performance. Social interest in crypto has been low compared to the peak of 2021. When Bitcoin hits 100K, it could draw back more retail investors and reignite interest in the broader crypto space, especially if this price spike leads to sustained momentum. Will 100K trigger an altcoin season? One way to gauge Bitcoin's impact on the markets is by watching the Fear and Greed Index, which shows market sentiment. In 2019, when the market hit extreme levels, Bitcoin's price surged briefly, but it didn't trigger an altcoin rally. A similar pattern occurred in March of 2024. However, if Bitcoin breaks 100K and the market continues to show high levels of greed, we could see more sustained rally similar to 2021, which could eventually lead to an altcoin season. Altcoin season is on the way, guys. That's just me and my opinion based on historical patterns. Let's go back over to the Bitcoin chart. Get back into the daily time frame here. All right. All right, so like I said, we want to close this daily candle above this resistance level, turn it into support at 91,800. That is what I will be watching throughout the day today. Let's get into the chat, see what everybody's talking about here. Guys, as always, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow, and it definitely means a lot. Funky freaking bonk is still bonking everywhere. The surprise meme for me is bonk running again. Let me have a look here. Oh yeah, it's up another 14.2% today. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Justin, find it funny how people can make price predictions where the bull run is unpredictable. Hear people say JASMY only 35 cents or to $1. Look at that people said about XRP last bull run. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. This is the thing, Justin, is that price predictions based on charting is just an educated guess at the end of the day, man, right? Nobody knows for sure where the prices of anything are going to go. Venom holding JASMY Doge, H-Bar, Axie Infinity, SLP, Elon, Spellcrow Bonk, and Book of Memes. Nice. Nice. Dumb money, Rob. Watching the paint dry can get a bit boring, but patience will pay off in the long. Yes, it will, brother. Yes, it will. My point is anything is possible in a bull run for all. No. Yeah, I actually did a video the other day just talking about recency bias when it comes to price action in an altcoin season. People tend to forget how violently altcoins can move to the upside because it's been 4 years since we've seen it happen, right? So you go through 4 years of bear markets and downward action and you know, half-ass pumps, I call them. And you tend to kind of get more bearish on, you know, on how high alts can actually run. You tend to forget, right? That's why it's such a surprise every altcoin season, because you forget it's been 4 years, right? SLP 3 to 4 has to hit new highs this bull run. 30 cents for me seems likely for this year and push past $1 in the spring. Just my opinion. I like your opinion. I like it. I'm honestly waiting for a next year funky action to sell my JASMY. Randy, how high do you think JASMY's heading to by the end of the year? Man, I keep getting asked that question. It's like, I mean, it's hard to tell, right? Right now, JASMY is in the process of getting ready for its melt up. And I think that its melt up is going to bring us somewhere around that 5 cent level. Probably consolidate there for a little while. I don't know how long. I mean, it depends on Bitcoin's price action, right? Bitcoin breaks 100K before the end of the year, then alts are going to continue to melt to the upside. Could see anywhere between a 7 to 11 cent JASMY before the end of the year. If Bitcoin continues to run, we could continue to melt up. And then it really starts to go crazy when it comes to altcoin season. WF Capital in the house. What's up, man? Venom, what it do? What it do, man? Creed. I suppose this time's Black Swan would be, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Biden keeps doing dumb stuff right now, right? It's like he's purposely trying to sabotage what's going, like, you know, positivity here. So we'll have to see what happens. Peanut's taking off. Is Peanut taking off again? What's Peanut doing? Guys, if you don't know Peanut, we did a swing trade over on the Patreon on Peanut. We made a 1,600% return on that bad boy. Yeah, Peanut's up 13%. You got to get over to the Patreon, guys. You're missing out on a lot of these amazing swing trades. We're making money hand over fist, man. What it do, y'all? Lord of the Realm, good afternoon. What's up, buddy? Bruno, hey, Rob. I was watching a video on the last 2 bull runs, and it shows that the first dump on Bitcoin usually sets the tone for the upcoming dumps. Nice. Yeah, history does tend to rhyme, man. William, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Rob, when Pump takes the helm, do you think it's possible when all these crypto policies and laws get announced, we will keep driving Bitcoin up in 2025? All good. No, Venom, don't fall for that, man. Do not fall for that. Don't fall for the whole 2026 is going to continue the bull run. You're going to get wrecked, man. That was going around in 2021. Everyone started saying that. BitBoy and all those people started saying, oh, 2022, everything's going to keep going, super cycle. Everyone got wrecked that believed that. Don't do that to yourself, man. Stick to the 4-year cycle until the 4-year cycle is no longer relevant, until it invalidates itself. Don't just take people's words for it, right? You're going to get wrecked. Junior, Hey, Rob, happy afternoon, my brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. XRP to the moon. I remember when XRP first got sued, Ripple people I know was selling and kept buying 22 cents. I didn't listen to the fake news. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. During that lawsuit, I scooped up a whole bunch, and people thought I was crazy. The joke's on them. Yes, that's how it's done, brother. That's how it's done. Me too, man. I scooped up a bunch when that happened, man. I bought that fear like a mofo. X marks the spot. Inflation also puts you in a higher tax bracket. Oh, yeah, you're talking about the taxation. Yeah. Being right's better than being wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Funky, seems like everything went green the past few minutes. It's the crypto future live stream effect, brother. Right? Aman, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Rodney's in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Rick, hey, Rob. What is the easiest way taking profits without issues with my bank? Heard people saying it. Yeah, Rick, I actually have a video I did yesterday breaking down how to avoid that and be proactive. It's over on the Patreon. If you need help with that stuff, get over to the Patreon, man. The link is in the pinned comments. It's in the description of the video. It's in the chat. Get over there and we will help you out with that, man. Stefan, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Enough with the BTC domination. Start with the alts already. Yes, I agree, man. I agree. Sam, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, guys. So listen, that's the chat. That is the news for the day. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to go eat some lunch. I'm going to get ready to go put in a delt workout. Got to get those delts and traps working, right? Make sure you get over to the Patreon, guys. Again, just like Rick asked, if you need help figuring out how to be proactive to prevent your banks from freezing your money when you move it from a crypto exchange back to your account, a lot of banks will freeze your bank account and say suspicious activity if you're moving 6 figures or more out of nowhere. They base it off of your previous history with them, right? If you want to avoid jumping through years of loopholes and stuff like that, or years of hoops you have to jump through, to get your money back from the bank, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than making life-changing wealth in crypto, moving it to your bank account, only to have your bank freeze your account, take your money, and say, prove to us that you didn't get this money illegally, right? There's nothing worse than that, guys. So get over to the Patreon. You can also schedule one-on-ones with me over there. We also do group Zoom calls every day, so join them, and we can get all your questions answered. We can help you with the structuring your portfolio. Now is the time before altcoin season hits, guys, to get over to the Patreon, get your portfolio structured properly. Make sure you have an exit strategy in place for profit taking to make your money. Do not get left behind in this run, guys. Get over to the Patreon. The link's down below. And I will see you guys at 8 p.m. Central right here live. I will be here with Wes, I hope. Wes has been having some troubles. He's out with his family right now. He should be here this evening for the 8 p.m. live stream. I will see you guys then. Have a good one, guys.